Hey guys, it's Andrea Bunny. I just want to come on here and basically talk about things that I've learned from my narcissistic exes. I've had two narcissist relationships. The first relationship was from 2013 to 2015. I actually did not know what a narcissist was at the time. I just thought like I was going insane. The only word that I could come up with at the time for him was sociopath. But I now know that like he's a narcissist. And if you don't know what a narcissist is, you could definitely Google it. To me, a narcissist is just somebody who uses and manipulates people for their own gain. They seem like charmers to the outside world, but they can be very abusive. Then the next relationship, let him tell it, we were never in a relationship, even though he asked me to be his girlfriend 2 times, and he proposed to me and asked me to be his wife with a ring another time. So 2 girlfriend, 1 wife request. I mean, you tell me, were we in a relationship? I don't know, whatever, let him tell it, we weren't. That relationship was on and off from 2019 up until, he called me on Instagram audio maybe like a week ago. Okay? So, I didn't answer though. So, these are the things that I've learned through these relationships. I just want to spread awareness. I'm sorry the intro is so long. Let's get into it. So, the first thing is narcissists target women with potential before it is realized to try to break them down. So, that one's kind of self-explanatory. They find women who to them are, beautiful, but may not have like the confidence or the self-esteem to notice or care about the red flags. They could be victims of trauma from the past, so that they're used to the maltreatment that the narcissist is going to bestow upon them during the duration of the relationship. It's basically like low-hanging fruit. They're like, a healthy woman who has done her inner work or has never had trauma, she's not going to stand for these type of things that the narcissist will do to them. So they can't do that with them, you know what I mean? But they want somebody who's attractive. They want somebody who still looks good on their arm, but is basically like a lapdog, a yes woman, or man, because narcissists, women can be narcissists too. Basically just to they're easier for a narcissist to get their claws into. You get it? All right. The next thing is, you will never be enough. Their goal is to make you want to constantly please them to prove your worth. This is something that the second narcissist, which I'll name Charles, I've talked about him on my YouTube channel years ago. This is something that Charles, sorry, I just had Chipotle. It was bomb as fuck, but making me burp. This is something that Charles would do all the time. He would make it seem as if there was this invisible standard that you could never ever reach. You're constantly put down as oh, that's cool, but this is better, or you did this for me, but this woman did this, so it's you'll never please them, so you'll never understand that they don't value you until you snap out of their trance. So the next one is, there is no room for you to be you. It's always about them, or they get upset. So for me, I'm a very artistic person. I love to write songs. I love music. Just anything creative. I used to draw and journal and do arts and crafts and things like that, art projects and whatnot. But if you try to express yourself in those ways, it's always there's no time for that. Let's do this instead, or you don't have to worry about that, or they just basically cut all your personality out. And if you do try to pursue something that you want, it's a problem. For example, when I lived with Charles, he would do this thing where he would make it seem like I had the freedom to start my own business or whatever not. But then as soon as I said, oh, I want to order this for my business, I want to order that, oh, but we have this planned with the kids and we have to do this and this and that. And then if I like insisted, he would like get upset and be like, you don't value me, blah blah blah, just manipulative. So the next one is they are charmers to the world but abusive to you in private, and they'll try to make it so that no one believes you. So my first narcissistic ex, he doesn't really need a name, like I can't stand him, but he was really good at that. He was really good at like getting people on his side to where they thought he was the best person in the world. So whenever he would do things to me or try to trigger me or embarrass me or anything like that, and I would try to point it out, people would be like, no, like he could never do that. Even his mom, like, oh, don't even get me started on this man's mother. But even when I took him to court for like trying to unalive me, the first thing he did was make sure that he spoke to the judge first, said something witty, and the judge smiled. Right then and there, I knew that I lost my case, because he just has this way of like charming people, like I said, getting them on his side. And Charles, he used to do the same thing, but I won't get into that because I only have 10 minutes. So the next one is they cannot stand when other men show interest in you. They will embarrass you in front of other men. This one, I have a story about both of them. So the first narcissist, this was back, I don't know, almost 10 years ago, I guess. And I was on my fitness journey and I was feeling good. I had lost a little bit of pounds after I had just gained like a little bit of weight. And I was in this sundress and I was feeling good. We were leaving our apartment and one of our neighbors saw us and he complimented my ex on like how I looked. And then the narcissist, he looked at me, he said, watch this. He turns to the neighbor and says, she's aight. And at that moment, like, I was on this high for a second, not only because the guy gave me a compliment, but because I was feeling good. And at that moment, like, I could feel like my confidence go like this. And so the neighbor was like, don't say that, like, she's beautiful, blah blah blah. And then we just continued on. Now Charles, he did the same thing recently. He had a coworker who was also one of his best friends, who had expressed to him that he found me attractive. So in private, Charles and I, we would have like intellectual conversations. Like, he knew I wasn't a dumb person. I've always gotten straight A's in English. I correct people on the internet when they use the wrong your. And then also, like, I used to read the dictionary for fun, so like I know how to spell, read, and write. So Charles, he was asking me to write something out for him, and he came to a word and I just typed it out because I knew the word, knew how to spell it. He was like, how did you spell it? And I was like, how it's supposed to be spelled. He's like, no, how did you spell it though? And I'm like, I'm not dumb, don't treat me that way, and don't embarrass me in front of other people. So of course he got upset, like when the person left, like he was like, oh, blah blah blah, like just irate. But he knows I'm not stupid. He was just trying to embarrass me because this guy found me attractive. So and that's just a tactic that they use in order to make you less attractive to other men so that they can keep you in their grasp, right? I only have 1 more minute left on this, but I have 3 more things to tell you guys. So like and share, comment for part 2 coming up right now. Alrighty, thank you so much for coming back for part 2. Basically, the next 3 things that I have to tell you are the last 3 things that I have learned from being in narcissistic relationships. Like I said in my previous video, my first narcissistic relationship was from 2013 to 2015. The next one was from 2019 up until he tried to contact me about a week ago. That one was on and off. The first one was consistently 2 years. The other one has been on and off for like 5 years. So 2 of the last things that I'm going to tell you guys are direct quotes from the second narcissist which I named Charles. Okay, so the first quote from him was, "The sex is better when a woman is in love with me, so I make her fall in love with me, even though I don't love her back." Now, let's just simmer in that, because I'm so sorry. Like, this Chipotle is really bothering me right now. But, yeah. When I heard that, I was just in shock. As me reading it right now, I'm still in shock. Is because, how could you feel so comfortable to, like, say something like that about women to a woman? It just further shows how they manipulate you. They love bomb you. They gaslight you into, like, wanting, like I said before, wanting to please them. And, you know, they give you things that you've, you know, maybe you haven't had before, or they say things that make you feel like they'll be there for you, but it's all a ruse. And I used to tell him all the time, like, you don't even believe the shit that you're telling me. Like, I can feel how fake it fucking is. I don't know how this shit works on other women, but for some reason I was allowing it to work on me. Like I said before, they get people who have had trauma, who are, you know, have abandonment issues, who, you know, feel like they want to please you and be good enough for you, so that when they say things like this, you don't retaliate. Like, that's a huge red flag. Second quote from him is, please don't get triggered. These are not my words, these are his. "Fat women have low self-esteem and are more likely to go above and beyond to keep me." Men have said this, not just narcissistic men, or maybe narcissistic men are the only ones who think like this, I don't know, but men have said this before. They think that bigger women have low self-esteem. I have not always been this weight. A lot of people on the internet, they know me for this. Maybe, you know, a few years ago I was slimmer or whatever, but then PCOS happened. I gained a lot of weight. If you don't know what PCOS is, you can Google that. But even when I met him, I wasn't this size. Like, I was thick. I was still thick, but I was more like on the slimmer side, flat stomach, nice, you know, whatever. So for him to say that is just absolutely disrespectful to me as a, you know, newly bigger person, and then women who have been big all their lives, because you get made fun of. You know, your self-esteem and confidence is lower sometimes. It's only been recently that, like, body positivity has come around, like, on the internet, and, like, women of a certain size are, like, feeling comfortable in their skin. Like, still to this day, like, I don't feel comfortable in a lot of fucking clothes. Like, I'd rather go out in sweatpants and a t-shirt, because I'm just not confident or whatever in my new body, thanks to PCOS. Yay. But yeah, just be careful, because a lot of guys will reveal themselves. I know it's hard to have confidence and stuff like that to leave these type of relationships, because, you know, you may feel like, oh, I'm of a certain age, or I look a certain way, I can't get better. Even if you can't get better, it's better to be alone than with a narcissist, right? I mean, look at how they think. The last thing that my narcissistic exes taught me is that they don't want you to be better or become independent. They want you to need them. They need you to need them. So every time that I asked Charles to, like, do something for me that would put me in a position to where I wouldn't need him so much, it was always denied. Every single time. I've seen him do it with other women as well. His ex of, like, 20 something years that he has 3 kids with, and then his other ex, which he has a younger child with. So the one that has his youngest child, basically he did kind of like the same thing he did with me. He kicked her out of their home together, and, you know, she was homeless and living in a hotel and depending on his child support every week. But whenever she did something or said something that he didn't like, he would snatch the money away from her, in order to manipulate her and get her to do the things that he wanted her to do. And he would say things like, oh, are you going to behave now? Are you going to listen to me now? Like I said, the one that was with him for 20 something years, she still wants him back. It's crazy. I remember he told me one time when we were dating in the beginning, he was like, well, if you're not going to be with Charles, you don't get the Charles treatment. I'm taking my car back. I'm taking the house back. Like, just, he'll give you things and then snatch them away. This happened to me recently with a car. Oh, look, there's a horse coming by. Hold on. Can you see it? Let's see. Oh, it's a horse. Look at that. She looked into the camera and then she's like, giddy up, let's get away from this thirsty asshole. But anyways, but yeah, they do things like that. So anyways, I just wanted to give you guys these little tidbits. I didn't want to go into super detail. I was gonna make a lengthier YouTube channel video or whatever, but I just didn't feel like getting glammed up and whatnot. So I hope this helps. Like, if you see any of these signs in a partner that you're with now, I encourage you to get away. Like, I literally have PTSD from dealing with both of these men that I still have not gotten over. I recently saw Charles' name in a Facebook group today that we're both in, and I was instantly triggered. He called me on Instagram audio call about a week ago, triggered. I am in therapy, so yeah, if you don't want to have to go through therapy and getting triggered every now and then from them popping back up in your life, and even the first narcissist, he's actually still in my fucking life because we have a child together, and it's the most horrible thing in the entire world. So this is just my awareness to you guys. This is like me trying to spread awareness. If I have any more tips or quotes or things that I think of, I'll make a part 3, but as of now, that's it. Please be careful out there. Please be careful out there, ladies. This shit is real and it will fuck with you. I just don't want that to happen to y'all. All right, bye.